Guys, what is good and what is going on, everybody? Your boy BLSG finally back at it with another live stream, and we are finally back. It feels good to be back, dropping content for you guys, whether it be a video, YouTube short, live stream, but especially a live stream. It feels great to be back and finally drop another piece of content for you guys. As for this live stream, well, let me just put it this way. This is kind of a makeup for what I wanted to do earlier than kind of at the last minute. I kind of wanted to do this at the end of July to early August, but with me getting a bit more busy, taking more responsibility, all the good stuff, you guys probably know, pretty much entered the workforce at this point. Now I have a full-time job, so been a bit more busy, so that's kind of the reason why we've held back on something like this. But hopefully, you guys will understand, and we will hopefully be back to normal in terms of the content. But I know this is coming out a little bit last minute, but better to do it late than never, as they say. But again, appreciate everybody that's coming through, tuning into the first live stream that I am doing in what looks to be probably about 2 months or so. So at the end of the day, just shout out to everyone coming through and tuning in for the first live stream back in probably about 2 months. So again, appreciate everybody for coming through and tuning in already. If you guys have not done so, as you guys are coming into the live stream, go ahead and hit the like button on the stream, hit the subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel, and everybody be sure to go ahead and share out the stream. So again, we could bring more viewers into the chat. You guys rock and roll as always and know how we do things around here. So let's get down to business. You already know we have to go ahead and start out with who's up in the chat. My guy, SD Sports Talk, man. The first one up in here. What's going on, my guy? Appreciate you for coming through, tuning in. Appreciate you for coming through, my guy. Hit the like button if you're not done so. Appreciate you for coming through the stream. I'm doing great, SD Sports Talk. Hopefully you're doing the same, my guy. Hopefully everyone's doing well on this Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to everyone again for coming through, tapping in. Just into another week. I love it. Eagles, my guy, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for coming through. Hit the like button if you're not done so, my guy. Appreciate you for coming through the stream. It's 1 week away from Eagles football. I can't wait. Me too, my guy. I can't wait for Eagles football to be back. But today we're talking about the Ohio State side today. But yes, I cannot wait for Eagles football to be returning back very soon. Pretty much a week away at this point. My guy, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's going on, my guy? Appreciate you for coming through. Hit the like button if you're not done so, Daniel. Appreciate you for coming through the stream. My guy says, go Birds. Yes, sir. It'll always be fly, Eagles fly. And I appreciate you for hitting the like button. Guys, hit the like button as you guys come on in here. Appreciate everybody that's coming back into the stream. Says the Eagles offense will be really fun to watch, and especially all the young guys are ready for week 1. Me too, man. I am so excited. This year should be a fun season. Not going to lie to you. MC, what's going on? Appreciate you for coming through. Says, I miss seeing your channel. Let's go Buckeyes. Hey, MC, you already know what it is. Appreciate you for coming through and tuning in. Hit the like button if you're not done so, MC. Appreciate you for coming through the stream. Then let's go Eagles. Yes, sir. You already know what it is, MC. Let's go. What are your thoughts on the Dotson trade? I'm a big fan of it. We didn't give up much at all, and Dotson's a huge upgrade as wide receiver 3. Yeah, absolutely. Just, like you said, my original thoughts on Jahan Dotson. First of all, I don't care what his stats say. I don't care what they show. He might have like 500 yards, 450 yards, less than that with Washington. And everyone's saying, oh, Jahan Dotson sucks. You're all the Commanders fans saying, oh, Jahan Dotson, he's trash. He's horrible. He couldn't do anything in Washington. What's he going to do in Philly with the division rival? Commanders are just making excuses left and right, and I absolutely love it. All the drama, all the hate, all the smack talk, all the nonsense in Washington, and I love every single bit of it. Everyone's crying more. They're coping all day. They're crying, and they're complaining. They're like, how does Howie Roseman keep getting away with this every single time? So cry more, cope more, and just keep complaining, because, you don't have a GM like Howie Roseman, okay? Let's just be honest. Nobody has a GM like Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman has had an incredible offseason. And you already know that Howie has done a phenomenal job in the offseason, and now it's time for these pieces to go out there and put it all together on the football field come week 1 in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. But overall, Jahan Dotson is a massive upgrade at wide receiver 3 over a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus. That's an Ohio State. We will get to Ohio State in a little bit, my guy, because this is what the live stream is about, as you guys can tell by the colors I am surrounded by, with the red, white, and gray, with the scarlet, white, and gray. You guys already know this stream is all about Ohio State. We will jump right into it in just a little bit. But before we go ahead and dive right in to what I want to talk about here on this stream relating to our Ohio State Buckeyes, for all the Buckeyes fans out there, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to the newest product, I should say, of the YouTube channel and probably the most secure wallet in the game. Let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to the newest sponsor, or newest product, I should say, of the YouTube channel, in the Slim Mint wallet.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash protected. Slim Mint uses RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info.
Having your information stolen is a nightmare, but with Slim Mint, I know I'm protected.
With money clips, cash can easily fall out, but Slim Mint locks shut, so your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Mint is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your business cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Mint, it's still ultra-thin. Bulky wallets are uncomfortable, but the Slim Mint is so compact it fits in your pocket. Plus, it keeps everything easy to access. Say goodbye to bent cards and damaged magnetic strips. Slim Mint keeps them protected. It's crush-resistant and can take a real beating. Similar wallets sell for over $150, but you won't pay even half that. Call Global Shop Direct or go online now to get Slim Mint for this low price and check out our 5 easy monthly payments. But wait, order right now and we'll double the offer. That's right, buy one and get one more. That's one for you and a bonus one for gifting too. Plus, Slim Mint is also available in a genuine leather outer shell design. You can upgrade to the new deluxe leather edition when you order today. Slim Mint will keep your cards organized, easy to find, and safe. Plus, it comes with Global Shop Direct's 30-day money-back guarantee. Order Slim Mint or upgrade to the Slim Mint Deluxe Leather Edition and get this special buy one, get one more offer when you order from Global Shop Direct today.
So there you go, ladies and gents. There is just kind of like a advertisement, something in a way, but a product that I definitely recommend that you guys do go ahead and check out if you guys want your money extra secure with arguably the most secure wallet in the game right now. Be sure to go ahead and check out the Slim Mint wallet. The link for that is down below in the description to go ahead and get your first purchase. But ladies and gents, also before we go ahead and dive into what I want to talk about here on the live stream, I just want to give you guys like an update on how content's going to kind of be going forward between Eagles and Ohio State. Here's how it's going to go. So for the Eagles, when it comes to the Eagles games, we're still going to be dropping probably the mini game previews, I'd say, because again, like I said, I've been extra busy, so I probably will not have time to do the full game previews. I'll probably just have time to do the mini ones. So that's probably how we're going to do the Eagles previews and just with the Eagles content along the season. As for Ohio State, so this is where we're going to get a little bit more detailed. Again, I am more than likely not going to be able to do every single Ohio State game. Well, I honestly know that I'm not going to be able to do every single Ohio State game, but hopefully I do get the opportunity to do a good majority of the games for this season. But for the ones that I don't, which the games that we will be able to do, they will be live streamed here on the channel. But for the ones that we will not be able to do, we will have like a post-game recap type of thing, whether if that be video, YouTube short, or community post. So keep the community tabs up and alert to hear my my overall thoughts about each game. Whether if it's win or lose, we are going to do it regardless. This is kind of like a new thing that we're doing this year because up to this point, I cannot do every Ohio State game. I know that for sure. So when it comes to content going forward, if it's not a live stream, it's going to be like a post-game recap. More than likely, it is going to be via community post, but maybe you'd see a couple YouTube shorts, a couple like short videos, just like getting reactions and stuff like that. So that is how we are going to be doing Ohio State post-game like type of content. So that's how we're going to be doing that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. I wanted to give an update earlier on this situation, kind of like how it's going to go down. And this is how it's going to go down for both Eagles and Ohio State. So that is just how we are going to work it. What's your score prediction for the college football game between Ohio State and Akron? My guy, we will get to the games in a little bit, and that will include Ohio State and Akron. So we will get to it. I bet Steph Curry and LeBron James are going to be at the Akron Ohio State game because they were both born and raised in Akron, Ohio. Hey, don't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked either. Man, you got to choose the wrong side. This guy, SC Sports Dog, has to choose the Akron side over the Ohio State side. Like, come on now. Keep a credit card safe. Absolutely. That's what the Slim Mint wallet is for. Again, be sure to go ahead and check it out, ladies and gents. If you want arguably the most secure wallet in the game, if your old one is just not working out efficiently or you just want a new one, definitely recommend that you guys go ahead and check out the Slim Mint wallet. Again, the link for that is down below in the description. All right, ladies and gents, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. So we're breaking this down again into two parts. The first one is kind of like a makeup to what I wanted to do between late July, early August. So at the end of the day, this is kind of like a makeup for the first half of the live stream. And then the second half of the live stream is going to be my Ohio State Buckeyes record prediction in terms of their schedule. For that, we are doing both best case and worst case scenario for Ohio State, and I'll probably give my overall most realistic Ohio State record prediction. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So first half of the live stream, let me just state it like this, ladies and gentlemen. If I can find the overlay here, if I can find it, that would be fantastic. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, and we will dive right in. Okay, so, ladies and gents, as we got Eagles saying go Penn State, and SC Sports Talk saying that he's a troll. I know this. I knew it already from the beginning. But again, SC Sports Talk, man, shout out to you for coming through and tuning in. So, first half of the show, ladies and gents, here we go. Let's dive right in. First half of the show. As it showed on the thumbnail, natty or bust for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I'm here to tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, that for the sake of Ohio State, there are no more excuses. The excuses for Ohio State to not get the job done, whether if it's going up against a team like Michigan and beating them, because they have not done that for 3 consecutive years now. Whether if it's not making it to the Big Ten title game or moving past the first round of the playoffs, whether if it's not winning the national championship, no matter what happens, there are no excuses for Ohio State this year. There are 0 excuses, ladies and gentlemen. Ohio State has constructed this roster into a national championship caliber team. There are no excuses for Ohio State to come up short of the national championship this year. In order to have, in my opinion, a successful season, this Ohio State team can honestly, if we're looking at it, they can lose 1 game max. So, at the max in terms of the amount of losses, Ohio State bare minimum has to finish 11-1 in the regular season. This has to include beating Michigan. They have to win the Big Ten championship game against whatever team comes out of the Big Ten West, which it could be a team like probably Iowa most likely, because they have all around the most talented team. Even though they've lost some pieces here and there, they still have all around the most talented team in terms of the Big Ten West. Although some teams to look out for, though, Nebraska is going to be up there because with the rebuild, including true freshman quarterback Dylan Raiola, that offense, and especially being coached under Matt Rule, is going to be scary. Purdue has lost a good amount of pieces. Northwestern has lost a good amount of pieces. But I think the Big Ten West is probably going to be Iowa. But if I'm not mistaken on who's there, I do believe Nebraska is there. I do believe Nebraska is the Big Ten West, I'm pretty sure, and not the Big Ten East. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that is correct for me. But if Nebraska is in the Big Ten West and not in the Big Ten East, it's going to be Nebraska against Iowa for the Big Ten West title to battle it out against, hopefully, fingers crossed, Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So, obviously, like I said, Ohio State, in order to have a successful season, they need to finish with a record of 11-1 in terms of the maximum amount of losses. They can only have one loss on the schedule, and we will eventually dive into my record prediction later on in the live stream. This includes beating Michigan. It includes beating Michigan. It absolutely is a requirement. They have to beat Michigan. They have to get it done in the Big Ten championship game, and they have to make it all the way to the Natty and win the national championship. That is how Ohio State is going to have a successful season, because the roster that Ohio State has built, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, is national championship caliber. All around, Ohio State has built a national championship caliber roster. Like, when you look at Ohio State's depth chart, I know I do not have a shot of it here for an image, but when you look at Ohio State's depth chart, ladies and gentlemen, they are absolutely stacked. And again, we will get into like players added, lost, returning. We will get into that later in the live stream. But when you look at Ohio State's depth chart, ladies and gentlemen, they probably got better than last year. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got better than last year. You know, pretty much everybody is back. You know, a good majority of the wide receiver core. 4 out of 5 returning offensive linemen. And overall, their offense just got better. And when you look at their defense is pretty much back. And under Jim Knowles, this defense should be unstoppable. This defense should absolutely be unstoppable. They should be able to find a way to get the job done. And I know in maybe like the first 1 or 2 games, Ohio State's defense might have some issues, because it's all about how chemistry is built on the field. We saw it last year, for sure. We did see it last year in the first couple games where Ohio State did not come out as we expected them to. But again, that was just the first game. That was not like the 7th game of the year where the team has all the chemistry in the world and they know exactly how to play together. And, you know, they're just getting used to playing as a team overall on the football field together. And when they actually have chemistry, they should have one of the best teams in the country, both offensively and defensively. Now, when we look at key players added and key players lost, you have a good amount of players that Ohio State lost, but players in which that they've added that has made their roster better. So we're going to start with key players added, ladies and gentlemen. Key players added for Ohio State. Quarterback Will Howard, the Kansas State transfer, who has also been elected to be Ohio State's starting quarterback for the up-and-coming season. He has been a key player added for the team, and he's overall been working hard in the weight room. He was at like 253, I think, or somewhere around there when he came in. Probably like 249 at the very least. And then they have said that Will Howard has dropped 15 pounds. So you're looking at Will Howard at about 235, somewhere in that area in terms of his weight. So Will Howard now on a much better diet will look to have a massive season at Ohio State and will look to hopefully find a way to just be one of the best quarterbacks in the country and a player that all of college football should be looking out for. Second player that Ohio State has added, especially to me, this is all based on pretty much star caliber talent, unless if players are going to make an impact on day one. Second player that Ohio State has added that, in my opinion, is a key player is Ole Miss transfer and running back Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson will both be battling for RB1. Head coach Ryan Day has yet to announce who the RB1 is going to be between TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. But either way, no matter who is the RB1, the RB2 spot is just going to be as unstoppable as the RB1 spot. So Quinshon Judkins being there as the team's RB2 should be unstoppable alongside TreVeyon Henderson in what already is a national championship caliber offense when you look at the depth chart. And when you see it on the field, it should be the exact same way. The third key player added for Ohio State, wide receiver and freshman wide receiver at that, Jeremiah Smith, the former five-star recruit, joins Ohio State, and he will also be one of the outside receivers for Ohio State, believe it or not, as him and wide receiver Cornell Tate will both be the outside wide receivers, and Emeka Buka will be the slot wide receiver on Ohio State's roster. So Jeremiah Smith is going to have a massive opportunity, and especially look for him to get some reps in come tomorrow afternoon. Fourth key player added for Ohio State via either commitment or the transfer portal. Offensive lineman or mainly center, Seth McLaughlin, transferring from Alabama, coming to Ohio State. He will look to make his presence known and will be surrounded by great offensive linemen around him. Again, we will get into the depth chart a little bit more as we go along in the live stream. But again, Seth McLaughlin coming in is going to be a massive piece for this Ohio State offensive line. Final key player added that has come via the transfer portal and another player from Alabama is free safety Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs being the sophomore transfer here, coming into Ohio State, and will be starting right away as they had, as you can see on here, they did lose Josh Proctor via the NFL draft, despite still being a free agent. So Caleb Downs will take his place. And honestly, again, with Caleb Downs playing free safety for this team coming into this upcoming season, that is literally an upgrade at the position, because Caleb Downs last year was one of the best true freshman safeties in the country, and will look to do the same thing in Ohio State with defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Now, in terms of key players lost, we have a handful of them, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of them were just like great depth pieces or players that just really stood out in a way. But I think with the way that Ohio State is set up this year, a lot of these moves are not really going to affect them. But let's just dive right in. So, key players lost for Ohio State consists of quarterback Kyle McCord, in which a lot of people are going to say, oh, Kyle McCord was not that great last year, which, again, I agree. It is true. Kyle McCord was not that effective for Ohio State. He was just planning on being a game manager quarterback. And keep in mind that Kyle McCord almost went into the big house and nearly beat the Michigan Wolverines. So if you're telling me that Kyle McCord is not a key player lost because he almost took Ohio State to the playoffs if they would have beaten Michigan last season, if you're telling me he's not a key player lost for Ohio State, then you are absolutely crazy. Now, the second player that I've listed as a key player lost for Ohio State, and we're just going to combine the second and third players here, Chip Trayanum and Dallin Hayden, both former running backs for Ohio State. Dallin Hayden, in which transferred to Colorado. Chip Trayanum, which he transferred to Kentucky. The reason why I have these two players on here at the running back position is because when they came in and played between Chip Trayanum and Dallin Hayden, they were averaging, or just overall in terms of their playing time at Ohio State, they were averaging between 4 to 6 yards per carry. I do believe it was like about 5 yards per carry for Dallin Hayden and 4 yards per carry for Chip Trayanum. And keep in mind that Chip Trayanum was, I do believe, was on the second unit, and he came in and averaged 4 yards a carry, I do believe, for Ohio State. So him and Dallin Hayden as backup running backs, as if TreVeyon Henderson would have went down, they came in and played a pretty solid role, but it will just suck to see them go. But with the addition of Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State should have the best 1-2 punch running back room in the country. Now, the fourth player in terms of key players lost here for Ohio State is wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., and that is going to be probably the biggest loss out of everybody on this list. But Marvin Harrison Jr. was really effective as the team's wide receiver one last season. And I wish Marvin Harrison Jr. nothing but the best when it comes to the NFL, as he is playing for the Arizona Cardinals right now. But Marvin Harrison Jr. and his presence will be missed. But best of luck to Marvin Harrison Jr. in the NFL, and hopefully between Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, one of those two can replace his spot. The other wide receiver that Ohio State went ahead and lost due to a transfer was wide receiver Julian Fleming, in which he went ahead and transferred to Penn State. He wasn't the most effective receiver for the Buckeyes, but like I said, for Dallin Hayden and Chip Trayanum, whenever Julian Fleming did get his playing time and his opportunity, he took advantage and took the most of it and got the most of every rep and opportunity that he got. So, especially in an offense that consisted of Kyle McCord, or even if it was C.J. Stroud back a couple years ago, Julian Fleming was regardless an all-around effective receiver whenever he got his time at Ohio State. And best of luck to him at Penn State. Just do not go off against Ohio State, please. Next up, in terms of key players lost, consists of tight end Cade Stover. Cade Stover was lost due to him being drafted into the NFL. And again, Cade Stover was another player that was really effective on the inside. And overall, Cade Stover was probably one of, if not the best tight end Ohio State has had in quite some time now. So again, shout out to Cade Stover for everything that he did at Ohio State, and best of luck to him at the NFL level. Next, we have offensive guard Matthew Jones, who was a graduate but also went on to the NFL draft. Again, when Matthew Jones was with Ohio State, he was indeed very effective at his position. And especially for him being a graduate, you already know that Matthew Jones already came in, or when he did play, rather, he was, again, effective. He didn't give up that many sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, when it came to Matthew Jones, he was just a great player all around to have onto the team and just really helped this team out in any way he possibly could. So again, shout out to Matthew Jones. Next, defensive tackle Michael Hall Jr. also moving on to the NFL draft, in which he did get drafted, I do believe, by the Cleveland Browns. And again, Michael Hall Jr., I do believe, was a backup defensive tackle to Ty Hamilton before he did get elevated into a starting role. Ty Hamilton was not the most effective defensive tackle, in which he is going to get another shot this year at the team's nickel tackle. It looks like is what's showing on defense. But again, Michael Hall Jr., again, whenever he got an opportunity to play and get his reps in, he was a really effective all-around defensive tackle. And I wish him nothing but the best of luck in Cleveland, as I do believe that is, again, where he went and where he got drafted at. But again, I really do think at the end of the day, in terms of the NFL, he is going to be very effective for the Cleveland Browns. Another linebacker that we do have on here that was effective at Ohio State and is, in my opinion, a key player lost was linebacker Steel Chambers, who did declare for the NFL draft but did not get drafted. So he is in the NFL despite still being a free agent at this time in the NFL world for him. But Steel Chambers, again, whenever he got his opportunities at Ohio State, he was, at the end of the day, very effective in his position. Despite going undrafted, he did the best that he could, and at the end of the day, that's all you're really asking for. Now, I did touch base on this guy a little bit earlier, but again, free safety Josh Proctor also moved on to the NFL draft, and despite still being a free agent, he did go ahead and move on to the pros. But Josh Proctor, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, my overall thoughts on him, he just couldn't stay healthy, Josh Proctor was probably undrafted just for that reason of just his health concerns. And again, hopefully everything goes well with Josh Proctor. Hopefully he does not get hurt as well as the rest of these athletes in general. The rest of these football players, I should say. But again, Josh Proctor, I do have as a key player because, again, like a lot of these other players, whenever he got his reps in, he was effective for a good majority of those reps. But again, his career was just absolutely took a roller coaster ride downhill, mainly because of injuries. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Josh Proctor was mainly a key player when he got his playing time. But again, his time at Ohio State was just impacted by injuries, mainly to the reason why he is currently a free agent in the NFL. Then the last guy we have for key players lost here for Ohio State is punter Jesse Mirco. Jesse Mirco, again, was a very good punter for Ohio State and honestly was one of the most effective punters in the country, I would say, in my personal opinion. But they have went ahead and placed him with true freshman Nick McClarty. Even though on the depth chart it shows junior transfer Anthony Veneri is the starter, but Ohio State did come out and say that Nick McClarty is going to be the starting punter for the Ohio State Buckeyes come this upcoming season. So that is it in terms of key players lost, ladies and gentlemen. But key players returning. Running back TreVeyon Henderson, who will pair up with running back Quinshon Judkins in the backfield as hopefully what will be the best 1-2 punch running game in the country. So TreVeyon Henderson coming back for another season and playing his senior year before he heads off into the NFL draft. So TreVeyon Henderson coming back is going to be really nice for Ohio State. And he's overall just going to be all-around very effective running back come this season. Also, another key player returning, I did touch base on him a little bit earlier, but slot wide receiver Emeka Egbuka will also return to Ohio State for one last ride. I do believe it's going to be is a redshirt junior year for Emeka Egbuka. He will be back for another year, and once again, you're going to see him playing in the slot. You're not going to see him playing on the outside. You're going to have two young receivers playing on the outside in freshman Jeremiah Smith and sophomore Carnell Tate. But in terms of Emeka Egbuka, you're going to see him playing in the slot once again. And you're going to hopefully see Emeka Egbuka once again have another really effective year against some of the best safeties and some of the most competitive safeties in the country. Now, another one that I put on here, I kind of put this as a group for the next two, but I put the remainder of Ohio State's offensive line. I did touch base on Seth McLaughlin being a key player added for Ohio State, but the rest of this offensive line, ladies and gentlemen, should be overall all around one of the best offensive lines in the country. Like left tackle, you have redshirt junior transfer Josh Simmons. Left guard, you have redshirt junior Donovan Jackson. At center, like we talked about, you have graduate transfer from Alabama, Seth McLaughlin. At right guard, you have redshirt sophomore Carson Hinsman, who did start as a redshirt freshman at center, believe it or not, for Ohio State last year. And then at right tackle will be the redshirt senior in Josh Fryer, who will have another opportunity to prove himself as the team's starting right tackle. And overall, in terms of this offensive line, again, like I said, it was a really good offensive line last year, and I think with the addition of Seth McLaughlin and with Carson Hinsman switching over to a new position over at right guard, I think it's going to help him out against a very experienced vet of the game at the collegiate level in Seth McLaughlin. I think Carson Hinsman is going to get an opportunity to learn. And I do believe once Seth McLaughlin ends up, or as I should say, once the season comes to an end and Seth McLaughlin declares for the draft, which he will after this year, I do believe Carson Hinsman is going to learn a little bit and jump right back to center as he did in his redshirt freshman year. And then Josh Fryer, at the end of the day, if I did not touch base on him, like I said, as I probably did bring him up, but Josh Fryer getting another year to see what he can do at right tackle for Ohio State. He was an overall pretty effective player last year as a redshirt junior, but we'll look to get back to his ways again, and we'll look to continue to take the role as the team's starting right tackle. And then you already know that the left side of the offensive line with Josh Simmons and Donovan Jackson is already going to be effective because they have been two veterans for this Ohio State offensive line. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, there should be no excuses to why this offensive line cannot be effective in another season for the team in the horseshoe in Ohio State. Then I also put, for key players returning, I also put the entire OSU defense. Because, guys, when you look at it, apart from Steele Chambers, Tommy Eichenberg, Michael Hall Jr., and Josh Proctor, pretty much everybody is coming back for this Ohio State defense. Going down the line, you have redshirt junior Jack Sawyer, redshirt senior Ty Hamilton, redshirt junior Tyleek Williams, redshirt junior JT Tuamoloau, junior Sonny Styles, graduate Cody Simon, redshirt junior Denzel Burke, senior Latham Ransom, sophomore transfer Caleb Downs, junior transfer Davison Igbinosun, and then at slot cornerback or nickelback, you have redshirt junior Jordan Hancock. Pause on the last name. But at the end of the day, you have a good majority of the starters coming back, and this should again be one of the most effective defenses in the country when you look at Ohio State's starting unit and kind of just like what they have behind them. Like they have some experienced vets behind the starters, consisting of junior Caden Curry, weak side linebacker CJ Hicks, the redshirt sophomore Jermaine Matthews Jr., Keenan Nelson Jr. as the redshirt junior transfer, and then true freshman Aaron Scott Jr., as well as the senior transfer Lorenzo Styles Jr. So at the end of the day, you have pretty much good depth behind Ohio State in terms of the starters. You have good depth behind them. But again, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you have to see them all on the field. And then the final key player returning that I have for Ohio State is kicker Jaden Fielding. Jaden Fielding was also one of those players that was really good for Ohio State last year. I would pretty much go out there and say that Jaden Fielding was just as good as Noah Ruggles was. You all remember Noah Ruggles, right? Kicker that Ohio State had a couple years ago, and then they moved on to Jaden Fielding. He will once again be back for another year as a true junior, and he will have the option to declare for the draft after this season. But do not be surprised if Jaden Fielding comes back for one more year. So that is it in terms of key players added, lost, and key players returning in terms of Ohio State. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your list right there in terms of key players being added, returned, or key players lost for Ohio State. So again, that is what Ohio State's team is pretty much looking like for this upcoming year. And again, shout out to everyone that's coming through into the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back up into the chat here a little bit. Phillies currently listening to the Braves 2-0. Top of the fourth inning. Well, it's currently 4-1 right now, my guy. I know you did mention that a little bit earlier, or like a little while ago, but yeah, the Phillies are getting smacked right now, so I wasn't surprised. But hey, I don't want to hear it as Sports Talk. Remember when the Phillies, I should say, remember when they came back when they were down 4-0 and they came back and won the game 5-4 last night? Yeah, don't be surprised if they do it again. Just don't be shocked. As a Phillies fan, what are your thoughts on the 2 home runs scored by RC and Murphy. At the end of the day, the pitching just has to be better. And the Phillies just need to start answering with some runs of their own. So at the end of the day, it's not that good when you have Orlando Arcia and I do believe it's Sean Murphy. I'm pretty for certain it's Sean Murphy. That's his name. But it's pretty bad when you have both of them putting runs up on the board, and when you only have one run alone, which the lone home run was put up by Bryson Stott. So hopefully the Phillies can start picking it up. Let's go Braves. Shocker. Go Braves, chop them Phillies. Man, leave us alone. You're going to beat the team up north? Absolutely. There's no excuses. And I'm going to continue with this a little bit longer, and then we will jump into my record prediction, both worst and best case scenario. And I know what you meant, MC. We do need to beat the team up north. Absolutely. Braves getting shut out. Costa Largo, Atlanta. I got the score, my guy. It's 4-1 in favor of the Braves right now. So, yeah. Bruce Harper, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you coming through, coming in, tuning in. Shout out to my guy, Bruce Harper, one of my loyal supporters of the channel. Appreciate you coming through, my guy, Bruce Harper. Hit the like button if you're not done so, my guy. Appreciate you coming through the stream. I'm doing great, my guy. Hopefully you are as well, my good sir. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Like I said at the beginning of the live stream, ladies and gents, hopefully everyone's doing well on this Friday night, going into the weekend, going into Labor Day weekend at that. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully everyone's doing well as we get closer to fall. And football season is back. Let's go. Ohio State football will be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, as they will go up against the Akron Zips tomorrow afternoon. We will not be live for the game tomorrow, just so you guys know. But like I said, Bruce Harper, I'm not sure if you were here for the beginning of the live stream, but in terms of how Ohio State content is going to go, there are some games that I'm going to be able to live stream like I did last year. But for the games that I am not going to be able to live stream, we're going to have a post-game video, YouTube short, or just via community post. We're going to have one of those three platforms be for the other post-game, just instant reactions, instant thoughts. We're just going to kind of have that be the way that we just provide more content to the channel. So I'm trying my best to provide as much content as I can to this channel. But again, with your boy over here, having to take more responsibility, being the working man over here, let's just put it that way. I've tried my best to put out content, but it hasn't been all around easy. I will just put it at that. But again, appreciate you guys for coming through, sticking up for me. Hope everything is good. It is, Bruce Harper. It is good life over here, my guy. Shout out to you for supporting, as always. I feel we'll be number one this year and we will win the national championship. I really hope so, Bruce Harper. I really do hope that this is going to be the year. And again, like I said, for Ohio State, it's natty or bust. It is absolutely natty or bust. As my guy says, this season will be awesome. You already know my guy. But again, like I said, it's natty or bust for Ohio State. I know I pulled up the graphic of natty or bust for Ohio State, and it absolutely is natty bust for Ohio State. Because overall, another thing that I wanted to add to for how Ohio State will have a successful season, in addition to, at bare minimum, having one loss in the regular season, beating Michigan, and winning the national championship, they have to, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, I did not say this yet, but Ohio State must finish the year as a top 3 team in the country. That's right. You heard it here first. Ohio State has to finish as a top 3 team in the country, in addition to having at most one loss in the regular season, beating Michigan, and winning the national championship. So, for the sake of Ohio State, that is what they have to do. If they do not do all 4 of those requirements, you might see Ryan Day getting the boot. And we might experience Ryan Day getting kicked to the curb like the Eagles fans did, like the Eagles fans have done for the past couple years Whenever somebody hasn't performed, they just kick him to the curb. And if Ryan Day doesn't get it done this year and doesn't win the national championship, he's getting kicked to the curb. So if it's the case that this team can't get it done, and if Ryan Day cannot win the national championship this year, be ready to watch and experience Ryan Day get kicked to the curb like the Eagles fans did with everybody that they've won and gone. Nicholas Luke, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you coming through. Says Oregon's going to beat the brakes off Ohio State. I wouldn't say beat the brakes off Ohio State. I will just say that it's going to be a very competitive game. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's going to be a very close, very competitive game. And again, we will dive into record predictions in just a little bit, my guy. But feel free to stick around for when record predictions come around. But Nicholas Luke, my guy, appreciate you coming through, tuning in. Hit the like button if you have not done so, my guy. And I don't recognize your account, so if you want more content like this, even if you're not an Ohio State fan, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. But again, shout out to you for coming through, kind of giving your thoughts a little bit. It's always appreciated, whether if I got to disagree with you or not. This Oregon can never even beat us. I mean, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to that game, that is going to be game of the year. Ohio State, Oregon is game of the year, ladies and gentlemen. That's game of the year on Ohio State's schedule. The game of the year for them is against Oregon. It's not against Michigan anymore. It's not against Michigan. It is 100% against Oregon, because that's going to be the matchup to watch. Okay, Ohio State must finish the top 3 team in the country. That's probably going to have to require beating Oregon, but Ohio State can only have one loss on the schedule at max. Okay, that's the game to watch. Absolutely, and I'm going to be watching it. 100%. And win or lose, we will have somewhat a type of a post-game platform, whether if it be video, YouTube short, community post, whatever it would be. That is the 100% game to watch. That's going to be game of the week when the time comes. I do believe that's Columbus Day weekend too, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, that's going to be a great game to watch. How would you rate Ryan Day on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, here's how I look at it, okay? Everyone throws up all the graphics and all the stats of Ryan Day's record against teams not named Michigan. And it's an overall really good record, in which if I can actually pull up what Ryan Day's record is against teams not named Michigan, like that tells you one thing, but when it comes to him coaching against Michigan, then that's a completely different story. Because I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan Day is 1-3 against Michigan. I want to say 1-3, because I do believe when Justin Fields was the quarterback for Ohio State back in the 2019-2020 season, I do believe Ryan Day was the coach when Justin Fields was at Ohio State in 2019-2020. Give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. So, ladies and gents, I'm just trying to figure this out. So, it looks like in terms of Ryan Day's record, is something between 55-4 and 56-7. Obviously, we all know Ryan Day is 1-3 against Michigan, but again, this is the year that Ohio State has to get it done. And again, we're going to dive into a little bit more on why I think that Ohio State has zero excuses. They just have no excuses this year. They have no excuses this year. This is the year Ohio State needs to get it all done. Because like I said earlier, if Ohio State can't get it done this year, Ryan Day is getting kicked to the curb. Another reason why Ohio State has no excuses, in addition to building one of the best constructed rosters in the country, Ryan Day is no longer calling all the shots, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Day is no longer calling all the shots. He's not calling all the plays anymore. A lot of my NFL fans out there from back in the day, my older NFL fans, and people that have watched this coach at UCLA, I do believe was where he came from, before joining Ohio State. But if you guys don't know, and this is going to be a name that stands out to a lot of people. If you know, you know, if you're one of the older generations from back in the day. But Chip Kelly, that's right, you heard it first, folks. Chip Kelly is going to be the one calling all the shots for Ohio State, as well, it was actually a while ago, but he did get hired to be Ohio State's offensive coordinator, and he will be the one calling all the shots for the Buckeyes. He is going to be calling all the shots for Ohio State. It's not Ryan Day anymore. It is now Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's calling all the shots for Ohio State on offense this year. And on defense, like we talked about earlier, it's going to be Jim Knowles. So, again, that's another reason why Ohio State has zero excuses. They have zero excuses to not have the ability or the right to get it all done. That is another reason that Ohio State has no excuses, because Ryan Day is no longer calling the shots, ladies and gentlemen, and Brian Hartline's not even calling all the shots either. It's Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's calling all the shots this year. He's calling all the plays for the Ohio State offense. He's calling every single play. Whether if it's a run play, pass play, whether if we have pre-snap motion, anything. It will be all Chip Kelly calling the shots. It's not Ryan Day anymore. Which I do find this, again, to be a pretty positive move. Again, I know I did not put anything out on this. But at the end of the day, I really do think that Chip Kelly is going to help this team, especially with one of the best constructed offenses in the country. Chip Kelly is going to really help out this offense and really make them one of the best offenses in the country. On paper, it looks that way. On the field, it has yet to be seen. So, those are mainly my reasons to why Ohio State has no excuses. With all the players that they brought in via commitment for true freshman potential or the transfer portal, Ohio State has constructed one of the best rosters in the country. They are bringing basically everybody back, especially on defense. They mainly got better on both offense and defense on paper, although we do still need to see it on the field. And then, at the end of the day, Ryan Day is not calling the shots anymore. Like I said, it's Chip Kelly. He's calling the shots this year. He's calling the shots. He's absolutely calling the shots. So, those are my main reasons as to why Ohio State has no excuses. They have no excuses to not get it done this year. And I'm making that statement right now. The 2025 National College Football Championship game will be between Ohio State and Michigan. And I'm picking Michigan to win it all. Man, you're crazy. Come on, man. There's no way you said that Ohio State and Michigan is going to be the national championship game. Heck no. Heck no. On paper, Michigan is not even in the conversation to be in the top four, and they'll finish, and it's projected to finish as one of the lower, ranked teams in the playoffs, because keep in mind, ladies and gents, also, the playoff format is now being brought to 12 teams and is once again being bracket style, but the top 4 teams will each get a bye into the second round for the Final Four, and then the 5th seed would go up against the 12th seed. The 6th seed would go up against the 11th seed. The 7th seed would go up against the 10th seed, and then 8 would go against 9. So, at the end of the day, Michigan is going to be probably one of the lower ranked teams in the country, But when you just look at their team, they are just so depleted. I know I'm saying this now, and they might just prove me wrong just for the heck of it. But you got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that Michigan lost one of, if not both, their offensive and defensive coordinator. They lost offensive coordinator Jesse Minter. I know that for sure. And they lost their old defensive coordinator as well. And they brought in Wink Martindale to be their defensive coordinator. Do you understand what Wink Martindale did for the New York Giants? Do you not understand what this guy did with the New York Giants? And you got him coming out here being Michigan's defensive coordinator? Oh, man. And you also have to keep in mind, too, ladies and gentlemen, that now that Jim Harbaugh is in the NFL, now coaching the Los Angeles Chargers, which is also where offensive coordinator Jesse Minter is gone, Sherrone Moore no longer has Jim Harbaugh's playbook. He has to have his own playbook now. And Sherrone Moore is going to be the one calling the shots for Michigan. Jesse Minter was the one calling all the shots for Michigan. He's gone. He's into the NFL. And Jim Harbaugh is in the NFL. He's in the NFL as well. And he probably took his playbook with him. So now Sherrone Moore is calling all the shots and is also going to have his own playbook. He's going to have his own playbook, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have his own playbook. He can no longer have Jim Harbaugh's playbook. He's having to have his own playbook instead. And just all the losses that they had on the team, J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, all of their offensive linemen. And, the D-line's back, but their entire linebacker core, gone. Rod Moore, out for the season. Mikey Samerstill, off to the NFL. Like, it just keeps going on and on and on and on. Like, it's crazy. Michigan's lost so many pieces. I still think Michigan can construct one of the better defenses in the country, but offense is very questionable. It's very questionable. There's just so many more reasons. I'm not going to give all my reasons, but this Michigan roster, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much projected to be worse than last year. I'm just going to say it right now. This Michigan roster, if this Michigan roster can somehow find a way to win a national championship with this team, I will be beyond amazed. I will be beyond amazed, okay? I will be shocked if Michigan finds a way to win a national championship with this roster that they have constructed this year. As SC Sports Talk says, ESPN analyst Jake Trotter pointed out the main weakness for the Buckeyes. He believes that Will Howard, the projected starting quarterback, could be an issue. Are you serious? First of all, I've never heard of Jake Trotter. Like, has he watched a lick of college football? Has he watched a lick of college football? All you need to see in terms of Will Howard, Jake Trotter, if you are watching this live stream, go back from last year and watch Kansas State versus Texas. And tell me Will Howard is the issue for Ohio State. Tell me he is the issue for Ohio State. Tell me he is. Go watch Kansas State versus Texas. I even watched the game. I had to watch it back a few times, actually. But go watch Will Howard's game against Texas. And even though Kansas State did lose the game, tell me that Will Howard is going to be an issue for Ohio State. I get it. It's a whole new conference. Will Howard has built chemistry with his coaches and his players. He's built chemistry. Like, what's the problem? What is the problem? Tell me what the problem is. Like, how is Will Howard an issue for Ohio State? Or the issue? How is he the issue for Ohio State? Please explain it to me. I just want to know. I want a good answer. Will Howard's been working his you-know-what off. He's been working his you-know-what off. He's been down like 20 pounds. He's been on a much better diet, and he already had great athleticism from what he was at Kansas State. And imagine what he's now going to have at Ohio State. He's going to be much more athletic. He's going to be much more in shape, and he's just going to be much more effective. And if you go watch his performance against Texas, tell me he is going to be a problem at all. Tell me he's going to be the issue at Ohio State. Tell me he's going to be the problem. Tell me he's going to be the problem. Please explain it to me. Can you put the link in the chat? What link are you talking about, SC Sports Talk? What link are you speaking of? Ohio State will start Will Howard to transfer from Kansas State, a quarterback to open the 2024 season. Ryan Day announced Thursday. Yeah, we already spoke about that, SC Sports Talk. We already spoke about that. But yes, Ryan Day did announce that Will Howard is going to be the starter. There really was, we don't, realistically speaking, there really was no quarterback competition, okay? Sure, they might have said that there was a quarterback competition between Will Howard and Devin Brown for the starting quarterback job, but come on, man. We all knew that Will Howard was going to be the starter. He was not going to sit behind Devin Brown. He was not going to sit behind Devin Brown for a year when this is his final year of eligibility. This is his final year, ladies and gentlemen. This is his last year. This is his last year. He's not sitting behind Devin Brown for a year. He was going to be the starter from the beginning. If Devin Brown was the starter, I was going to be beyond shocked. I was going to be beyond shocked. I was going to lose my mind if Devin Brown was named the starter for Ohio State. There was no quarterback competition. Will Howard was going to be the starter from the beginning. Devin Brown doesn't even have true starting caliber experience. Sure, he was used like an Alex Orji type of player from last year, where he was just using small packages. But he wasn't used as a starting quarterback apart from maybe one game or 2 games. That's it. That's it. If anything, he wasn't used as a true starting quarterback apart from 1 or 2 games in his college football career. That's it. Okay? So, for all the people out there that say, oh, Will Howard's going to be the issue at Ohio State, he's going to prevent this team from getting over the hump. Yeah, just go watch this game against Texas and then talk to me later with that same energy that Will Howard's going to be the problem and is going to not allow Ohio State to get over the hump. Tell me he's the problem. Tell me he's the problem. StreamYard link. I don't think we're going to do a call-in show tonight, my guy. I don't think we're going to, honestly. Phillies losing 6-1. Yeah, I know. They're getting smacked right now. I know. That's why I'm on here. Because I'm not watching that game. I'm not. Devin Brown and Brock Purdy are the only 2 football players who are from Arizona. Well, there you go. There's another fun fact. But at the end of the day, Devin Brown never even had a clear shot to start. He never had a clear shot to start for the Buckeyes. He never had a clear shot. He wasn't going to be the starter ahead of Will Howard, who was already going to be named the starter. I don't care what anybody says. There was no quarterback competition. There was no quarterback competition at Ohio State. There was no real quarterback competition. Will Howard was going to win the starting job from day one as soon as he transferred. He was going to win the starting job. They needed a quarterback after Kyle McCord transferred to Syracuse. They needed a quarterback. And they got Will Howard. So why would Will Howard sit behind Devin Brown? Please explain that. Somebody explain that to me. But all right, ladies and gents, we're going to go ahead and jump into the second half of this live stream here. We're going to go ahead and jump into the second half of it. And it is going to be my Ohio State record prediction. As for this one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and give you guys my best case scenario and my worst case scenario record for Ohio State. My best case scenario record, though, could change from what it is to a completely different record. But this is overall just my opinion on what I think Ohio State can go. This is just what I think Ohio State can do if all goes well. Devin Brown was born and raised in Gilbert, Arizona. Brock Purdy attended Perry High School in Gilbert, Arizona. So yeah, they did kind of grow up being buddies together. But on that note, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and dive right into my schedule prediction here for Ohio State. Let's go ahead and take that banner down real quick. And which one do you guys want first? Do you want best case scenario or worst case scenario? Which one do you guys want? The first comment that I get in the chat is what we're going to go with. Do you want best case scenario or worst case scenario? Listen, we love anyone, any color, and any religion. God loves all, and so should we all. Exactly. Thank you, MC. But guys, let me know in the chat. Do you want best case scenario for my record prediction, or do you want worst case scenario? Let me know down in the chat. Which one do you guys want? Because I have two separate ones. I have best case scenario and I have worst case scenario. Which one do you guys want first? Let me know which one you guys want, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know which one you guys want. Do you want best case scenario first, or do you want worst case scenario first? Because I think my worst case scenario prediction is going to honestly shock a lot of people. It's going to shock a lot of people. There's one game in there that is going to shock a lot of you guys. And I'm not going to lie to you when I say it. I'm not going to lie. This one will shock a lot of people in the chat. It's going to shock a lot of people. So let me know in the chat down below, ladies and gentlemen, do you want best case scenario record prediction first, or do you want worst case scenario record prediction first? Let me know in the chat. Which one do you guys want? Best case scenario or worst case scenario? First comment that comes up is the one we're going to take. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles is also from Arizona. That's facts. Facts right there. And I do believe he's playing for the 49ers right now. But again, all these guys have a pretty good connection, according to SG Sports Talk. All these guys have a great connection based on where they all came from. But SG Sports Talk, man, let me know, my guy. Do you want best case scenario schedule first, or do you want worst case scenario schedule first? Because I have two separate ones. I have best case scenario and I have worst case scenario. Which one do you want first? Let me know, chat, which one do you guys want first? Do you want best case scenario or worst case scenario? All right, SG Sports Talk says go to best case scenario. Okay. All righty. We're going to do best case scenario first, ladies and gentlemen. And this one should not shock a lot of people. If we're being completely honest, this one should not shock a lot of people. But my best case scenario record for Ohio State is 12-0, ladies and gentlemen. You have wins in every single game going down the line. You should hopefully, pray to God, have the win against Akron in week 1. Western Michigan should be a cakewalk. Marshall should be a cakewalk. Same with Michigan State, even though you have to go to Michigan State. Iowa, I think, should be a win. I will get to my worst case scenario prediction later. Oregon is the one I'm kind of debating on. I'm kind of debating on Oregon to decide whether I should give them the win or the loss. I said the win for one specific reason, ladies and gentlemen. Because I think that this game between Ohio State and Oregon is going to come down to Ohio State's rushing attack versus Oregon's run defense. Ohio State having arguably the best running game in the country going up against Oregon's run defense. And I just don't think Oregon is going to be able to handle Ohio State's run game. I really don't think they're going to be able to. Nebraska's another one, a pretty scrappy team. But even though they do have freshman quarterback Dylan Raiola there, who was a former Ohio State commit, who decommitted and went to Georgia, actually, and then decommitted again and went to Nebraska. So Dylan Raiola is going to be leading the offense with Matt Rule leading the team. But at the end of the day, there's just a lot of unproven talent on that Nebraska offense, in my opinion. There's just a lot of unproven talent. At Penn State, that should be another win for the Buckeyes. Again, Penn State has a good amount of talent to prove. They have a lot of stuff to prove going into this year. You know, is Drew Allar going to have the true receivers that he needs, especially with the addition of Ohio State wide receiver Julian Fleming? Is that going to help out Drew Allar with the good running game of Nick Singleton and Keyshawn Allen? Is that going to help out Penn State's offense? And are they going to stay effective? Against Purdue, that should be also another win. Same thing with playing at Northwestern and at home against Indiana. Those should all be wins. Against Michigan, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there are no excuses for this Ohio State team to lose to the team up north. There are zero excuses. They have all the pieces together. Michigan has lost so much talent, and Ohio State got better. Michigan pretty much got worse. Michigan doesn't even know who their starting quarterback is going to be yet. Like, that just shows you that Michigan is not ready. They are just not ready. That just shows you Michigan is not ready for what is coming. They haven't even picked out a starting quarterback yet. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Tuttle, I don't even know how many years he's been in college football, like what, 7? He's been college football for like 7 years. He's not even in the conversation to start. It's Alex Orji versus Davis Warren. If Davis Warren is the starting quarterback for Michigan, I am going to laugh so hard. Like, that dude wasn't even in existence like last year. That dude was not even in existence. Although we already knew that J.J. McCarthy was going to be the starting quarterback, but Davis Warren's name was not even mentioned. His name wasn't even worth mentioning, ladies and gentlemen. His name wasn't even worth mentioning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to say it right now. His name wasn't even worth mentioning. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Michigan has just lost a lot of pieces. They probably lost too many to find a way to make up for it. Like, they had all the talent last year with J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Tyler Morris, so on and so forth for the offense. And the defense, they had Mikey Samerstill, Will Johnson, Rod Moore, Jalen Harrell, Junior Colson. Like, they had so many pieces. They had so many pieces to both sides of the ball that was a national championship caliber team. This year's Michigan team is completely different, and it's probably going to be a rebuild in the books for the Michigan Wolverines. That's just my personal opinion. But, again, best case scenario for me for Ohio State, it's 12-0. Although I am debating that Oregon game. That could very well be a loss and could bring Ohio State to an 11-1 record. But at worst, Ohio State is finishing 11-1. At worst. Now, worst case scenario, if everything were to go completely wrong for whatever reason, if everything were to go completely wrong, and if everything does not end up working out, worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to shock a lot of you. But worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right up there, I know that seems a little ambitious. I'm not confident in this happening either. But worst case scenario for Ohio State is 8-4. If everything were to go wrong for Ohio State, 8-4 is going to be somewhat their prediction. Obviously, you should be seeing wins against Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, and Michigan State. But then the next 2 games after that, Iowa come into your house, and then you guys and then Ohio State having to play Oregon. Oregon again, like I said, that can go either way. It's being played at Oregon, but like I said, that's coming down to Ohio State's run game versus Oregon's run defense. So that's what that game's coming down to. Then I also have worst case scenario scheduled, including a loss to Penn State. If Penn State can get it together, that could possibly be a loss. And then you have to look at Michigan, because Michigan has owned you the past 3 years, and it wouldn't shock me if they lost to them a fourth consecutive year in a row, resulting in a firing for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes kicking him to the curb. So those are 3 out of the 4 losses. And then the fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get my finger over there. The fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, this one is shocking you, a lot of you right now probably, but it is against Iowa. And why do I say Iowa? You might be asking. Well, Iowa, I think overall Ohio State is going to beat Iowa, but the reason why I have Iowa listed as a loss on worst case scenario is really because, number one, you have Cade McNamara coming back for another year off of injury, but he's not even winning the starting quarterback job right now. It's quarterback Brendan Sullivan, who played for Northwestern before coming to Iowa, and he's projected as of right now, unless if Cade McNamara comes out here and puts up a statement, if he comes out with a statement game and makes a statement against Ohio State, or just makes a statement in general to prove that he can start, if he can make a statement to start, good for Cade McNamara. I'm happy for the kid, getting another shot, getting another opportunity. But if he's sitting behind Brendan Sullivan, then what's the point in talking about this? Why do I say that Ohio State could lose to Iowa? Why do I say that? Well, if you guys don't know, I'm pretty sure a good amount of you are going to know about this, but every single year for the Iowa Hawkeyes, they are known for producing great players on defense. We saw with players like Cooper DeJean, okay? We saw with players like him. And overall, all around, Iowa's defense has been all around very dominant over the past few years. And I really do think Ohio State's going to win this game. I just think in a way it's going to be low scoring in that game because, again, having to face an Iowa defense every year, no matter what players they're getting, what players they lose, who they're adding, etc., no matter who they're adding and who they're losing, at the end of the day, Iowa's defense will make it very challenging for some of the top teams in the country to score on them. They can make it a really tough day for a team like Georgia. They can make it a tough day for a team like Oregon, who are 2 of the biggest powerhouses in the country in terms of the teams that they have constructed. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I still have Iowa being listed as a win. But don't be surprised if that game is a bit closer than what you expect, because Iowa's defense is known for being a very scrappy defense. And they just continue to develop one of the best teams in the country. Well, one of the best defenses in the country, I should say. They are just known for that. They have been built for doing that, and they have mainly been known for not allowing such big point totals to some of the best teams in the country. So I'm just saying that's a loss because of how Iowa's defense can be. And if Iowa's defense plays their butts off, you have no idea. If they play the best defensive game of their life, they could scare Ohio State for a little bit. But my best case scenario record, you already know, it's 12-0. It very well could be 11-1 because of that game on Saturday, October 12th, where Ohio State will go all the way out west and will play the Oregon Ducks on the road. But again, like I said, in terms of that matchup, that is coming down to Ohio State's run game versus Oregon's run defense. And Oregon, I just don't think is good enough to get it done against when you have both Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins in the backfield, like if Will Howard is having a not so great performance, but if Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins are, why not keep running it with them? Why not? Why not keep running it with them if Will Howard's not having the best performance? And if you have guys like Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson set to dominate, like why not hand the ball off to them? Why not give them the rock and let them do their thing? I'm just saying that Oregon game is just so hard to predict because that is game of the year for the Buckeyes. Now that Oregon has moved to the Big Ten, Ohio State will have to take them on. And they'll have to take them on in Oregon at their house, which is a really tough place to play. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I have Ohio State finishing somewhere along the lines of 11-1 or 12-0. I'll have them finishing somewhere along the lines of that. But at the end of the day, ladies and gents, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to come on here, provide more content for you guys as we got another live stream in the books, ladies and gents. And at the end of the day, we're just going to keep pumping out the content as much as we possibly can. As we have SG Sports Talk spamming best case scenario constantly. Okay, this is how I know that my guy is trolling. This is how I know my guy is trolling. Ohio State will go 0-12. Yeah, okay, keep telling yourself that, bud. Ohio State will not win a single game. Go Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, Penn State, Nebraska, Purdue, Iowa, Indiana, Oregon, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, it is what it is. My guy Hayden, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you coming through. So the thing for Ohio State is winning and making it past round one. Absolutely. Hayden, I absolutely agree with you. It's an absolute must. Okay? It's an absolute must. Okay? But I'm just saying that the roster that Ohio State has built on paper is national championship caliber. It's national championship caliber. You can't tell me otherwise that this roster that Ohio State has constructed is not national championship caliber. Which this should lead them past the first round of the playoffs. It absolutely should. Because they're going to be there. And you obviously know it. You know they're going to be there. It's just how far can they go? How far can they go? Like, that's the thing. How far can they go? I think they can make it pretty far down the road. But in my opinion, like I said in the beginning, Hayden, let me tell you this one more time. Natty or bust for the question mark? The answer is yes. It's natty or bust for this team. Like, if Ohio State does, like I said this earlier, I'm not sure if you were here for it, Hayden, but I've been saying this actually for a while now. Like, if Ohio State does not win the natty and get it all done this year, Ryan Day is kicked to the curb. He's kicked to the curb, he is fired, and he's going bye-bye. Ryan Day is going bye-bye, and they'll probably promote Chip Kelly to the head coaching spot. They probably will if Ryan Day gets kicked to the curb. I'm just going to say that right now. That's exactly what they're doing. But again, Hayden, my guy, appreciate you coming through, tuning in, my guy. Best of luck with your future endeavors. And shout out to you, my guy, for what you're doing, serving our country right. If you guys don't know, my guy, Hayden Christensen, he is going into the Navy, actually. So he is officially entering the military. So shout out to him for representing our country in a massive way. Shout out to my guy, man. To go Purdue, go Indiana, go Oregon. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, bud. I know he's just trolling, but still. Bleacher, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you coming through. This comes down to coaching and management. I will definitely agree with that, you know. Even though Ryan Day is not calling all the shots, you still have to consider coaching. You absolutely have to consider coaching into how Ohio State is going to play this year, you know. With Ryan Day not calling all the shots, all the shots are into the hands of Chip Kelly for the offense, and they're all into the hands of, oh my gosh, why? Jim Knowles for the defense. They're absolutely in the hands of those two coordinators. They're in the hands of those two. Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles have all the coaching abilities. they are going to have the coaching pressure. They're going to have pressure on them in terms of the coaching. They got all the pressure on their backs. Even if Ryan Day is not the one calling all the shots, if Ohio State does not win the Natty, he's still kicked to the curb. He's still kicked to the curb. And everyone knows it. And then management, absolutely. Again, absolutely agree with you when you say management, because especially time management, clock management, everything like that, these will be two key factors when it comes to how this team is going to go out there and perform. Those are two key factors right there. Coaching between Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles, as well as clock management. Absolutely, 100%. Especially when it gets down to crunch time, you absolutely need to consider clock management. Absolutely, 100%. Which appreciate again for coming through, tuning in, my guy. Hit the like button if you have not done so. Appreciate you for coming through the stream. This is Go Northwestern. You already know. Chip Kelly absolutely disgusts me. All my people from back in the day, or if you watch Chip Kelly at UCLA, all my people from back in the day will know who I'm talking about. They will know who I'm talking about. We're talking about the Chip Kelly. We're talking about the Chip Kelly being the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes. The Chip Kelly is who we're talking about. But pretty much, ladies and gents, on that note, that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it for me. Natty or busy. I don't even know why it says natty or busy. I know I put natty or bust on here. I know it's just the end of the live stream, but let me just go ahead and change it. Not that one. There we go. But again, guys, on that note, ladies and gents, that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it for me. Ohio State season kicks off tomorrow against the Akron Zips, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm so excited for Ohio State football to be back tomorrow. It's going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, a great season. And hopefully we will be experiencing a national championship this year. Again, guys, we will try our best to do as many play-by-plays as possible. But if we do not do play-by-plays, keep your community tabs up and running, as well as your notification bells on, in case if we do drop a post-game reaction video or YouTube short. So keep your notifications on. Have your community posts active, because that is where my post-game, reactions are going to be on any of those three platforms if we are not streaming the game. Which, again, I hope to stream a good amount of the games this year. I really hope I can. But a lot of these games, ladies and gentlemen, as you already see, they say to be determined. All the way up to the Michigan game, they say to be determined. The Michigan game is obviously at 12 o'clock on what looks like Thanksgiving weekend. Because that's pretty much when Ohio State and Michigan go at it. They go at it pretty much on Thanksgiving weekend. But I'm not sure if it's that way this year or if Ohio State and Michigan are just playing 1 week later. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Let's hope that this team can find a way to get through and bring home a national championship. And the journey to the national championship, ladies and gentlemen, it all starts tomorrow for Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, appreciate y'all for coming through, tapping into the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to everyone that came through tonight. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are the best. And on that note, ladies and gents, that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it for me here in this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you guys have not done so, ladies and gents. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. God bless and peace. And as always, go Bucks!